Yesterday in Sunday school, I taught my girls' class about the story of the centurion in Luke chapter 7, 1 through 10. This man, centurion, meaning 100, was a powerful leader, Roman leader. Rome was in control of Israel at the time. So this was a powerful man who led at least 100 soldiers under him. And it says several things about this man. It said that he had built a synagogue for the Jews. So although he could have been oppressive and mean, instead he was caring and he allowed them to have a synagogue and worship as they chose. Also, it said that he was seeking Jesus to heal his servant who was very ill. This doesn't even say one of his soldiers. This was a personal servant. So this man was very loving and kind to others, and he saw their needs and he wanted them to have good lives. So there was a lot of good about this centurion. We don't know his name. But when he wanted his servant to be healed, he sent Jewish leaders to Jesus to ask him to do this. Jesus agreed that he would do it, and Jesus started on his way to the centurion's home. When he found out that Jesus was coming to his home, he sent someone else out, one of his employees, to stop Jesus in the way and say, "Listen, my master does not feel worthy for you to come to our home. He's a man of authority. He knows that if he says something, his orders will be carried out. And he does not expect you as a man of authority to actually come here to heal the servant. He knows that if you just say so, the servant will be healed. You do not have to leave where you are to come here to heal my servant." Jesus marveled at this when he heard this. And he stopped and said to all the people around him, "I have not found someone with such great faith in all of Israel." Jesus was super impressed by this man. He was amazed. He marveled. Stop and think about that. Impressing God himself. Jesus is God himself. What was it that was so impressive to him? Did he come and offer to heal the servant? And was he super impressed because of all of the good things the man had done? How kind he was, building a synagogue, treating his servant well, loving others? No. Jesus took time to teach the people around him about this man because of his great faith. Often we've heard about the 5 love languages, and everyone has a favorite way that they feel most love. A way in others that others can treat them, that they feel the most loved. In Scripture, we see when Jesus walked on earth, he was the physical manifestation of all that God is. Therefore, any way that Jesus spoke or anything he said, any of his preferences, is the way that God feels. If God has a love language, it would be our faith. This centurion was so humble and he had so much faith in God that he did not specify how he needed God to answer his prayer. He simply asked the Lord to answer his prayer. Every other person that we know of, even the 4 that brought their friend down through the roof so that he could be healed when Jesus was in the house, even those people brought someone to Jesus. The lady touched the hem of his garment. Everyone else that we hear about, Jesus healed them while he was next to them. But this man knew that Jesus could heal his servant wherever he was by simply speaking it. He believed in God that much. I wonder if you and I would have so much faith in our prayer life that we could give God control of how he answers our prayers. We don't have to have it a certain way. We just need our prayers answered. Our prayers for others are intercessory prayers. We are just praying for our children to come back to the Lord, or someone to be healed, or someone to be saved, or someone to love God and give their life to Him, or someone to have wisdom. But we don't put all these stipulations on the Lord of how He needs to do that. You know, sometimes the answers to our prayers may actually cause us pain. We may have to go through suffering for God to answer the prayers how we want them answered. It's His choice how He answers our prayers. But so many times we have the 10-step plan of how He needs to come through for us, when He needs to come through for us, what that needs to look like. But to have the faith that amazes God, that makes Him marvel, like the centurion, we simply pray, trusting Him to answer it in His time and how He chooses to do it. And we leave it there. That's the faith I want to have in my prayer life for others. Ladies, let's walk in love this week, loving God through loving others. Have a great week.